nothing good ever comes from pointing the finger at somebody.
Justin Baldoni is breaking down literally in tears after Blake Lively just hit him with another round of pure humiliation again. This lawsuit is taking a mental toll on Baldoni, and his supporters hate to see him in this state. But that's not all, there's more. Chappell Roan just got dragged for being a full-on hypocrite following her Grammys acceptance speech, and all it took was a small artist to blast her, complete with receipts proving that she tried to exploit her. And to top it all off, we're exposing the real reason Taylor Swift got booed at the Super Bowl. And trust me, y'all are not ready for this one. This is pure chaos, so grab your snacks because we're diving straight in.
I woke up at 4:30 this morning. My heart was racing. I'm noticing that, I'm having some anxiety.
Right off the bat, we need to talk about Justin Baldoni straight up breaking down over Blake Lively. Like raw emotions, teary-eyed confessions, and even more serious behind-the-scenes drama that completely shuttered Justin. Guys, if you thought this situation couldn't get any messier, it did. By now, everyone is aware of the hostile situation between Blake and Justin, but what hasn't been talked about enough is how all of this has been impacting Baldoni's mental health. As we've now come to learn, he's been down bad, especially after Blake hit him with the lawsuit accusing him of some serious stuff, including SA. This was the kind of situation that could end careers, and if you remember, Baldoni was dropped by his talent agency within hours of Blake's expose. Now, Justin has finally broken his silence, and let me tell you, he did not hold back. In a recent interview, the man straight up broke down, talking about how this whole thing has wrecked him emotionally and financially. And before y'all say he's just being dramatic, his words hit different. I had an intense year, a lot of emotional stress. It's been very hard on me and my family. This is a man that is completely drained. And even though he never mentioned Blake's name directly in that interview, we all know what he is referring to. But wait, because it gets even wilder. During this interview, Justin started talking about how he's been taking too much and how he says yes to things out of fear, being a people pleaser, and how he's just tired of it all. Well, we all say the people pleasing bit is true because that 2 a.m. call was all the proof we needed that he literally bent over backwards to accommodate Blake's wild demands. Now that I think about it, we'd have had a completely different movie had Justin been the kind of person that stands his ground. But he just cuts people so much slack, so much so that his kindness has been his weakness. As we've now come to learn, things have been so bad for Justin to the point that he's been dealing with major anxiety, waking up at 4:30 a.m. with his heart racing. Y'all, this man is going through it. And just when you think that things couldn't get any worse, even the process of Justin and his legal team trying to clear his name hasn't been a walk in the park. Remember, not everyone is on his side despite the overwhelming evidence. Some people are riding for Blake, saying she wouldn't file something like this unless she had proof, while others are standing by Justin saying that he's being dragged for no reason. Basically, on top of everything, Justin also has to deal with the court of public opinion, and it's just been super messy. And here's where it gets even deeper. In the wake of dealing with all of these, Justin has even had to start reflecting on his past, admitting that he's made mistakes and that he used to put on a mask and pretend to be someone he wasn't. He even talked about his past relationships, calling one emotionally abusive and revealing that both ended in cheating. Like, this experience with Blake has Justin literally having to peel back layers to relive the mistakes of his 20s that he is not proud of. All of this to prove to people that even though he isn't perfect, he is also not guilty of any of these things. At the end of the day, whether you believe Justin or Blake, it's clear that Justin is struggling mentally, and probably a supportive family is what's keeping him sane right now. This is going to be a lot now that this situation isn't over. Not even close. And to think that we're not even anywhere close to the hearing date. Oh, and while Justin is dealing with legal drama that just won't quit, over on the Grammy stage, Chappell Roan was having the night of her life until someone's past receipts came back to haunt her. Chappell Roan really had her moment at the 67th Grammy Awards. Her dress may not have been everyone's fave, but she ate that performance up. Not only was she nominated in 6 different categories, but she also snatched the Best New Artist Award, which is a huge deal.
As selected by the 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, the Grammy Award for Best New Artist goes to... Woo, nervous.
And And of course, like any artist winning their first Grammy, she got up on that stage to give her speech. Most people use this time to thank their fans, family, team, and everyone who helped them get to the top. But Chappell wasn't about to just say a few thank yous and walk off the stage. She had something to say, something she has bottled up for years, and she made sure the entire music industry was listening. She started off sweet, shouting out her fellow nominees, her fans, and her record label. But then she hit him with the real talk. She said that back in the day, she had sworn that if she ever won a Grammy, she would call out the industry for what it is: $1 billion machine making money off of artists while barely paying them enough to survive. This wasn't just about her, but for all of the up-and-coming artists who struggle to make ends meet while chasing their dreams. And then she got even more personal. For those who don't know, Chappell Roan has been at this for a minute. She started uploading music on YouTube back in 2013, and by 2014, she was already performing original songs around her hometown. In May 2015, she got signed to Atlantic Records, one of the biggest labels out there. And at first, everything seemed like a dream come true. She was dropping music, going on tours, getting the full pop star experience, but the dream didn't last. Somewhere during the pandemic, Atlantic Records decided she wasn't profitable enough and dropped her. Just like that, no warning, no support, nothing. And because she had been signed so young, she had no real job experience outside of music. She couldn't find work, she couldn't afford health insurance, and she was basically left to figure everything out on her own. So when Chappell Roan stood on that Grammy stage and called out the industry, she wasn't just being dramatic. She was speaking from experience, adding that if labels actually cared about their artists, they'd make sure that they had a livable wage and healthcare. She even said that if her label had prioritized her well-being, she could have gotten the care that she needed after giving them 5 years of her life. And honestly, this was solid.
Labels, we got you, but do you got us?
This speech had people back on her side, especially after ruffling a lot of feathers during the campaigns. Chappell Roan may not be perfect, but she has always been an activist, and she has always spoken up. Just like on this career-defining platform, she became the voice of struggling artists. The one that called out the industry's dirty little secrets. It was giving real, raw, and unfiltered. Until it wasn't. Because just when people were ready to ride for Chappell Roan, the internet did what it does best. It exposed her. And loves, when I tell you the downfall was fast, all it took was one nail artist to spill the tea, and suddenly every bit of that artist deserved fair pay speech was looking real hypocritical. Let's get into this mess. So this celeb nail artist, Holly Good with the Nails, jumped into the chat and blasted Chappell for being a hypocrite. She took to her Instagram stories and started posting receipts, and let me tell you, she did not hold back. One of the first things she pointed out was the irony of Chappell standing up there at the Grammys advocating for fair pay for artists when she herself allegedly refused to pay for multiple nail sets. According to her experience, Chappell's team reached out to her in 2024 asking her to create nail sets for a tour. But here's where it gets shady. They only gave her 2 days notice to get them done. And to make things worse, they weren't even offering to pay her in real money. No, they told her they could only pay in exposure, meaning she would get tagged on Instagram. And just to make sure that everyone knew she wasn't making this up, she dropped the email receipts. One email from Chappell's team even said that since the last tour got covered by Vogue and Nylon, they were expecting more press this time too. Basically, they were selling her dream that if she did the nails for free, her work might get noticed by big outlets. But here's where things got even messier. Chappell's name was misspelled in that email. Like, what are the odds someone working for Chappell Roan doesn't know how to spell her name right? Some people think that this could mean that the email wasn't even legit. Maybe it was a scammer pretending to be her team, but others aren't buying that excuse because while her name was spelt wrong at the top, they got it right at the bottom, so probably just a typo. Either way, Holly Good with the Nails declined the offer, making it clear that the short notice and lack of payment were not it. Fast forward to 2025, she sees Chappell standing on that Grammy stage giving that speech about fair wages, and she was baffled. And that's when she hopped on Instagram with the story and also added another post saying artists should be paid their worth because exposure doesn't pay bills. Guys, the internet was eating it up. People flooded her comments supporting her, saying that she was right for calling Chappell out because at the end of the day, fair is fair. If Chappell's gonna demand that the industry pay artists properly, she should be doing the same. And now the dilemma is whether this was Chappell's doing, if it was her team acting messy behind the scenes, or just a scammer. Because if her team did reach out to Holly Good with the Nails, there is still such a chance that Chappell Roan might not even know about the situation, but if she does know and she let it slide, yikes. Yikes, that is a bad look. So far, Chappell hasn't responded, and she might not, but either way, this did not age well. Still, on things that did not age well, the internet barely had time to digest Chappell's drama before another pop queen took center stage, literally. Taylor Swift just got booed at the Super Bowl, and the real reason is more twisted than you can imagine. As y'all might already know by now, the Super Bowl crowd just turned on Taylor Swift, and the internet is on fire trying to figure out why. The truth is, this wasn't just about football. The boos weren't random, and they definitely had nothing to do with her dating Travis Kelce. Nope. As y'all are about to find out, there is a lot more to this, so let's get into the real reason Swift got that icy reception in New Orleans. First off, let's talk about the moment that set it all off. Taylor was sitting pretty next to Ice Spice, vibing and enjoying the game, when suddenly the cameras panned to her on the stadium screens. Now, usually this would be the part where the crowd goes wild, but instead, boos. Loud, undeniable, and very much intentional. Taylor looked shook, giving a little side eye and wrinkling her nose, clearly realizing that, yeah, this was aimed directly at her. While the Eagles fans definitely played a role, this game was a rematch of the 2023 Super Bowl, and y'all know how Philly fans get when it comes to their team. Seeing Taylor, who's now basically the unofficial queen of the Chiefs, was probably enough to set them off, but let's be honest, Eagles fans boo everything, so that alone doesn't explain the level of heat that she got. Then there's the politics. Taylor endorsed Joe Biden in 2020 and showed her support for Kamala Harris in 2024. That's got MAGA fans big mad, and none other than Donald Trump himself hopped on the Truth Social to stir the pot. He wrote, the only one that had a tougher night than Kansas City Chiefs was Taylor Swift. She got booed out of the stadium. MAGA is very unforgiving. Now, we all know that Trump loves to exaggerate, but he's not totally wrong. Taylor's neck has been on the line ever since she spoke up about her political stance, and on that Super Bowl stage, people made sure to remind her of that. There's more. Remember when Swift turned down the Super Bowl halftime show for 2024? Turns out that decision had fans side-eyeing her long before this 2025 incident. It was reported that she was too busy with her Eras tour, and others claimed that she would have only accepted if it was held in Nashville, her hometown. And then there's the one that she didn't need the Super Bowl's platform since they don't even pay performers. Whatever the reason, some people clearly took it personally, and this might have been their way of showing it. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, there's another twist. Some people believe this has to do with Taylor's involvement in the super disturbing lawsuit involving her allegedly estranged best friend, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And given the evidence Justin has produced, Taylor is guilty by association, which is only adding fuel to the fire. So basically, the boos weren't just about one thing. It was a mix of football rivalry, political drama, fan disappointment, and celebrity controversy all rolled into one. But knowing Taylor, she'll shake it off like she always does. And that's on all the drama, y'all. Justin Baldoni can't seem to take it any longer. Chappell Roan is exposed, and Taylor Swift's Super Bowl moment being an absolute mess. What do y'all think? Was Blake Lively doing too much? Did Chappell deserve the backlash? And are Swifties going to defend Taylor, or was the booing actually justified? Let me know down in the comments, loves. As always, thank you for watching and sticking with me. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notification bells so you never miss the latest on your fave celebs and influencers.